Right. Good evening. Good evening. Is my sound clear? Is my sound clear? You can type in the chat box there and tell me if my sound is clear. Then we begin immediately. Then we start. Very clear, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Let me just close this. Right. Let me just open my chat real quick. Right. Let me just open my trading view chart. Then we start immediately so that we see what we are basically looking forward to this week on our current pairs, and so that we get to make the proper right decisions throughout the week. Right. Very clear, very clear. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Right. Right. Let me share my screen real quick. Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me share my screen. Right. So this week, it's a very interesting week in the sense that, based on what I've seen already on the charts, based on what I've seen on the dollar index, what it's most likely going to do this week, and also what most of our major pairs, gold, US30, Nasdaq, GBPSD, what they are most likely going to do this week. It's something that we have already seen and we are aware of. So I just want to share with you that setup and that analysis real quick so that immediately once the market opens by midnight, I believe by midnight now, I think it's 5 hours, 5 hours left for the market to open. I believe you'll also be able to make the proper right trading decisions alongside the analysis that we would have done together right here on this particular breakdown session that I'm about to do. So you will see that even NFP that is going to come on Friday, it's not even a complicated matter or even a complicated thing. It's only complicated to those ones, to only people who don't understand structure and all that. But when you really understand how structure works, how institutional order flow works and all that, you won't even have challenges on things like trading your NFP. You won't even have any any challenges knowing what is the pair going to move like, what is this going to move like. Let me just share my screen. Where is this? Right, share screen. Right. Right, can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen? If you can see my screen, just type in the chat box there. Yes, 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 beautiful. Right. So the most important thing, like someone once asked me a very beautiful question one of the days, asking me, Mr. Mike, do you look at the dollar index when you do your trading analysis and all that? Personally speaking, I don't usually look at the dollar index because I now know how to analyze and all that. So for someone like me, I might not even need to look at the dollar index to know how the dollar is going to move in the next coming weeks or even this week. How it's going to behave and all that. I don't need to look at it. But for someone who may be still uh, learning their art of analyzing and all that, they might still need to look at the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index from the monthly, the most important thing is for you to identify the structure as clear as it is. Looking at the structure as clear as it from the left like this, from the left, there you can see that was a major break. That was a major break of structure like that. So it being a major break of structure like this, the most important thing, once you've realized that you have a major break of structure like that, the most important thing is for you to identify your swing legs. In this case, these are swing lower high, swing lower low is here. That's our swing lower low here. Right. So this is basically just to have a rough idea of what's going on the monthly. So on the monthly, we also have an extreme supply. If they tapped, not yet, they haven't fully tapped that level. They can still come to tap it before the overall drop. So you can even see that even inside here, there's still a room for the market, for the dollar index to keep on going up. I shall tell people that even most of my, if you really pay attention to most of these breakdowns that I do, if you really pay attention, you will realize that um, 9 out of 10 times the market will definitely move like that. The only thing that you just need to do on your side is just to do a follow through of the breakdown on your own side. Right. So here you can see that internally they are still bullish, meaning they are still going to they can still push into that major level before the overall drop. So just looking at the overall thing here, they can still come here before the overall drop. So there's still room for the dollar even this year to rise before the overall drop. The overall drop is also in alignment with some of the fundamental news that are coming throughout of the events that are going on in America and all that. It's a topic for another day, which I think I'll share also. The fundamental, how everything is in alignment, both the technical, the institutional technical analysis, how it's in alignment with both the fundamental events that are basically happening. So looking at this, they still have room to go up, right? That's just the monthly to have a rough bias, a rough idea of what's happening. So on the weekly, that's where we now see the current position of the market. For example, here, the current position, already we can see that based on what the market has done, based on what market has done already, here they've induced to the downside. They're inducing to the downside and also inducing to the upside. It means for this particular moment, they are now actually going up, and going up, they are mostly targeting this level here, targeting that level up there. So already on the weekly, we can see that they're already going up. So the same thing, it's also the same thing with this adjustment to the upside, which is this one. It's the one that precipitated this move to the upside. Same thing with also this one. People, they don't really know what the purpose of this adjustment or these these terms and all that. What's the purpose of all that? So this adjustment is what makes this a leg. We have this leg as a higher low. That was a higher low as well. Then the market went on to break the previous higher high there, and they made a higher high. Where was the higher high? The higher high was made by, so that inducement was basically to confirm this as a higher high. So that was the basic purpose of that inducement. So the reason why I'm spending more time analyzing the DXY, I'll show you even when we go to our normal pairs, gold, US30, Nasdaq, GBPUSD, you'll see how even the direction of the DXY that we're anticipating is to actually be in alignment with everything else that we are looking forward to also seeing this particular week. So there you can see that here they've induced, so meaning according to this basic analysis, here we are shooting up like this. Basing on this, so this is a move that can take the whole of the year. It means for the rest of the year, most probably, most likely, based on what we are seeing, what the market structure, institutional market structure is telling us, mostly we're looking at the market, the DXY shooting up to take out this high up there. This is a prediction for the whole year. It means March, April, May, June, July. This is basically what we'll be anticipating. Last year, 2023, it didn't really do anything serious because it was playing. This was January. January was here. It was playing basically in sort of like a range. it played around in a range, then it broke out downside, broke out to the upside. So this year, most probably, we are going to have a very nice push to the upside and not a range, because the purpose of the range there was simply basically to accumulate both upside and downside liquidity. If you notice this range here, they collected liquidity to the downside, they also collected liquidity to the upside. Doing that, they were confusing a lot of people, because many people, when this downside level is broken, like there, this is their support. When it's broken, most people, they're busy selling. As they're busy selling, their stop loss are going to be wiped out, which is basically what to call liquidity. So that was, they collected that downside liquidity and also the upside liquidity. When this resistance was broken, many people were busy buying. So they've collected all the liquidity necessary now. So after collecting all the necessary liquidity, the only thing left now is for the market to go up. So now that's basically the weekly analysis. That's the main move for the year, basically, on the DXY. Is that a question? There's no sound. Is there no sound? Guys, is there no sound? Is there no sound? Others, talk to me. Is there no sound? Or is only one person who doesn't have sound? Can you talk to me? Is there no sound? Or it's just one person who doesn't have sound? So here on the daily, you can see Confluence. On the daily, those that are in the class, they are aware that a weekly inducement is basically a daily change of character. Those are some of the mysteries about the markets that people are still yet to discover, whereby a weekly inducement is basically a daily change of character due to what you call a time frame confluence. Let me see. There's sound. So who is saying there's no sound? So there, that's the change of character on the upside. You can see the daily is confirmed as well. So we're shooting up, and if we are shooting up on the daily, we can even mark the internal legs if you want. You can even mark the internal legs, like if you want to mark the internal legs, let me just use this. That's our internal higher high. This was our previous leg. This was the previous lower high. This was the previous lower low. So they've taken out, they now have a higher high. This is now a higher low. It's basic. It seems basic, but it's not even basic. It seems basic, but it's not even basic. It seems basic because the person who is showing you the the complex structure, institutional structure. When you've mastered something, it seems when you're now explaining something that you've mastered, it might seem as if it has now become easier. Yet the real essence, the real truth is that the complex thing, it has just been simplified. And whoever will be talking about whatever they will be talking about, they are basically aware of what they're doing. So yeah, on the daily, they have induced it there. So most likely, you can also see that there is room. Here now, this is the trick. This is the gist about this whole entire thing. This inducement, once it has happened, because these legs that you are seeing that I marked are basically being formed by inducement, right? These internal legs that I drew, they are basically formed by inducement. And notice something. Every time when they form an internal leg, for example here, if they're coming to create a new leg, they will maintain that internal structure up until that new leg is formed. So there will not be any inducement throughout the entire time up until they finish the move. For example here, if they were going to create a higher high, they will maintain this inner structure. It will remain the same up until they finish creating that higher high. Because once they induce, for example here, let's say they induce below this leg, already they now have this as a lower high, right? That's that's institutional mathematics that many people they still have challenges understanding. So you also realize the same here, even when they're coming down. They don't induce up until they've created this lower low, up until they've reached where they want to pull back to. Because if they want to pull back here, it means this inner structure, it remains the same. It remains the same lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It remains the same up until here. This is where they actually induced. I just placed it here, just for formality, but it's actually here. So they now induce after they've done. Once they are done, they also do the same, even going to the upside. They once they have their structure like this, they will move like this, like this, like this, up until they finish. Once they are done, you see them inducing, coming and tapping any untapped level like that. Then they continue like this. Because right now, someone might be busy waiting for the market to come all the way down here. Yet, based on principles, it might not even come there. It might not even come there based on principle, based on institutional principle. So, looking at that on the daily, I'm still anticipating a very beautiful bullish movement on the DXY for the rest of this month. For the rest of this month of March, I'm looking forward to that movement. If you go to the 4-hour, it's also in confluence with that particular move. So looking on the 4-hour, you can actually mark the internal structure nicely. This internal structure, yes, you can actually mark it nicely from here. There was an inducement, there was a break. They're now going now, like this. Where was the other inducement? The other inducement is here, and we are most likely expecting a break up there, like this. So you see now that here, looking at the 4-hour, already on the 4-hour, already, I can show you that the move that we are mainly looking forward to this week is right here. This is our main structure and our main analysis for this week. You might be shocked that on NFP, the DXY will be around here, which is an extreme demand of this entire institutional market structure. If you find the market, if you find the DXY on that level like that on NFP, definitely you expect the DXY to shoot up. Even if it's not there, but if it's coming from there, most likely it will just be a shoot up like this. So this is the main setup for the week. This one. This is the main setup for the week. So here coming to the downside, I'm still looking forward for this drop because even inside here, they don't change up until they finish the move. So the same thing here, lower low like this, lower low here, lower high. They came down, lower low. They failed to take out the lower high. You see? That failure to take the lower high, it's actually a sign to show you that they are still most likely coming to that extreme. That was a failure there, failure to take out this previous lower high. Because if they're taking it out, that's an inducement to the upside. Definitely, they would have just tapped here and went up, but they failed. So now we're looking forward to this drop. This is the main structure or the main setup for the week. This drop, then they bounce, they respond, they have to induce there, then we shoot up. So on Friday, NFP, if you find the market like this on this level, or even coming from this level, giving you the confirmation, know that definitely the dollar is going to shoot up. The dollar is going to shoot up. That means our gold will fall, our US30 will fall, our Nasdaq will fall. What else? Our GBPSD most likely will fall. So this is our main structure for the week. I'm expecting the DXY to tap there, then fly up. So having broken the dollar index, knowing where the dollar is going to come from, where it's going to go, even when I now go to my gold and I go to my US30 analysis, you see that even the confluence that I'll be having, it will be in alignment with even what I saw on the DXY. So yeah, let me just go to the monthly just for a quick setup or quick analysis. I think I've been doing the gold analysis for a very long time now. Those that have been attending most of our breakdown webinars, they are aware of the main direction that I spoke about gold, the main direction or my main bias for the year actually on gold. I think I spoke about it, whereby I said I'm actually anticipating a huge, serious, major pullback this year. And if you notice, that bias is also in alignment with the DXY bias that I showed you, which is the shoot up. The DXY, we're looking forward, which is the dollar index. We're expecting it to go up. So it means we're expecting the dollar to be shooting up the rest of the year. Then our gold, I'm expecting basically a pullback into some of these levels before the overall continuation. You see, it's also the same major bias also on the US30, Nasdaq, and all that, because they've broken major structure. They are now establishing higher highs. This is also the same similar thing that is happening on the US30, whereby they are now establishing new highs up there. So yeah, this is the main level that I'll be anticipating the major pullback for to tap onto this year before maybe the overall continuation, maybe around next year or whatever. But this is a good thing to know because it helps you even to help you maximize on those swing moves and all that. Because once you're able to identify and catch a swing move from the top up there, you are definitely most likely going to hold all the way to the downside because you now have understanding of what's happening. So here you can see already something has happened on the weekly. On the weekly, they've induced. Them inducing there is basically them forming a higher high, forming a higher high, this one, right? Them forming a higher high like that, it means most likely we are also anticipating them to come and take out this leg here because they induced down. They also, after inducing downwardly, they also induced to the upside. So it's like this. That's a leg. That's a leg. Then here, you can see that after failing there, they are still yet to come and wipe this leg right here. So they still have a job to do, especially on the weekly, looking at the weekly time frame, which is not an issue, which is not a problem. All we do is to wait upon structure to give us all those confirmations before we jump into trades. So looking on the daily, looking on the daily, you can even see on the daily that here, this was a basic adjustment. There it was a basic break of structure there like this. There they induced again, which is roughly here, right? They induced there. Then they also came and induced here. So on the daily as well, you can see that they still have something to do. There's a job that still needs to be done because there's a failure that they did there. So here, right, they came all the way to the level up there. Did they take it out? No, they didn't. They just wiped. So the good part about it is that I like this sweep. This sweep, it's a representation of liquidity that was taken out there. So now the job that they have to do now is here and also here on the daily. So definitely I'm anticipating something like once we get confirmations up there, something like this in juice, then they can just play around with bearish structure up until they change the overall structure. Then they can just pull back and continue going all the way to the downside to all those other levels down there. So gold, it is back on the level up there. And when it's back on the level like that, it doesn't mean just jump into sales immediately. No, you need wisdom now, wisdom to wait for the consequences that must happen for them to happen. Because if you just jump in randomly without certain confirmations happening or certain confluences happening, you actually be bent. So here, you can see that that's the major change, major level that on the 4 hour, remember the daily adjustment is actually the 4 hour change of character. So this is the level there on the 4 hour. That will be the main setup for the week. You will realize that it's actually basically here. The first major sales will get them after the adjustment up there. The adjustment up there, most likely I'm at here. Obviously, it's a fire leg, but obviously on the lower time frames, it will be up there. So it means once we get, for example, 15-minute confirmations, we'll get sales from there. Once the 15-minute confirms there, we'll get sales from there. Once we get our sales from there, this can induce, maybe give us a pullback. The 15-minute there will be flowing in bearish order flow, up until they come and change. Then something like that. So basically, you see that there is a confluence basically to the expectation that I showed you on the DXY, as well as to the gold expectation as well for the week. Gold, I'm basically looking forward to the drop, and DXY, I'm basically looking forward to the upward move. So here, if you go on the 15-minute, let me just go to 15-minute. There, once you get a very clean setup, someone can just jump in. Yes, someone can just jump in, but that's not the best thing to do. On the 15-minute, obviously, this is the level, even though it's still far, but it's a level that. So what they can do now, they can create a very clean market structure up there. They can even wipe out people there on the 15-minute. They can even do this drop, then wipe out people. Once they wipe out people, maybe they can now induce. Then they give you a pullback, something like that. Then they start going and going up until they take out this leg. So wait for that market structure to form, clear market structure to form. I'll be updating you in the free Telegram group as well as free WhatsApp group on that particular market structure. Once it starts appearing, I'll actually show you that now the market structure is now clear. Even 5-minute also, it's a good one if you want to enter those early trades. You can also wait for it. For example, here that was a break. So here you still need this to happen. So long this adjustment, for example. So wait for this, then they can even pull back to this extreme before the overall drop and all that. So wait for that confirmation before you jump in. I'll also be updating you. I won't even leave you on this one because once the confirmations have happened on this one, it's going to be a very big swing trade that we can even hold for the rest of the week, even throughout NFP, and even for the rest of the month. If all goes well according to plan, if it moves well according to plan, we can even hold the sales on gold for the rest of March. So it's also the same thing with US30. US30 is also almost the same similar bias and setup in the sense that I'm anticipating. Yes, last week we took beautiful trades. We took beautiful buys. Last week, was it Friday? I think it was Friday, or was it Thursday or Friday, where we took beautiful buys. So yeah, this is the highest high that it has established. So now the most important structure is just here where the market is, because there, once it changes character, we know that our swing major pullback has begun. So here you can see that they are still bullish. They induced the broke structure here. This is the highest high that US30 has ever gone. And now the change of character according to 4 hours is this one, right? So the most important structure for this week on US30 is this one that you're seeing. Nothing else. Someone might say, why does it seem like it's yes, this is everything according to when you have understanding about the market. It's so crazy that most of these things you won't even need to put a lot of things on the chart. So here you can see that they actually induced, which is good because the inducement is basically forming. It basically formed that is a higher high. This is our previous higher low. That's the higher low somewhere there. So they still have a job to do. So the best thing that I'm anticipating this week, the best sales on US30. Listen to this now. If you want to enter the best to sell on US30 this week, because right now, based on this, they can still break here, right? They can still break here before. So once they break here, the good part now is that if they come and break here, if this bullish move continues and they come and break structure up there, right? Then they induce, then the change of character will be this one. Once they do this one now, they we know that our sales would definitely start falling from up there. That is if they do this. So even if they don't do this one, there's also another scenario that you can also expect. Another scenario that you can expect is whereby they can even fall from where they are. If they fall from where they are now, this will be a different thing because according to this is a higher low. According to this, or what has actually happened here, this is a higher low. So it being a higher low like this, once it's taken out, that will be a change of character as well. Then you just see them pulling back there. Then they drop. So you see now, for sales, we already have two major scenarios that we're anticipating. Either they break upward, then the change, then we enter. Or the change, this one, then we pull back, then we strike. So it's a very interesting week. If you trust me, it's a very beautiful, interesting week. Especially US30 it's actually having a very clean setup this week. It's a very interesting week. Trust me, it's a very interesting week where I'm anticipating very good money to be made, especially on gold and US30. Gold and US30, I'm anticipating very beautiful trades. These trend lines and all that, these are just things that I put not for, this is not my main analysis. I just put them to watch as the market will be moving and obeying and respecting my overall institutional setup and my overall institutional analysis. So yeah, I will basically be anticipating something like this. They come, when they change there, then most probably our pullback will be somewhere around these levels up there. That's where we'll be striking. Once they change to the downside, they will strike our swing sales. This will be our first major target. So this week, expect very good money to be made on gold and US30. I'll try by all means to also be generous and to make sure that I'm sharing the setups and the update with you in the public groups, the public Telegram as well as public WhatsApp group, so that we move together and make this money together. Since these are swing trades, I'm expecting obviously for them to be swing trades. Once the confirmations have happened, that's what I'm anticipating. So once the confirmations have happened, we're going to kill it. US30 and gold, be ready to make very good money this week. So the video will be up just now on YouTube in less than 30 minutes to an hour. It will be up on YouTube. Go rewatch it, learn, and let's make money.